to start with Senator Alma Francis Heidegger. Senator Francis Heidegger, you're recognized for your 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good morning to my colleagues. Good morning to the testifiers. Good morning to the people of this territory. First, I want to start off with dealing with the first one up in regards to Annette Jackson. In regards to this, the DPNR is recommending use variance. Are you okay with that, or would you prefer to have the zoning change as requested?
I think the senator is frozen. I think the senator is frozen. Senator Francis Heidegger, can you hear us? Please hold the senator's time. Can you hear us, Senator Heyliger? Francis Heidegger?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Start the senator's time over. Can you re-ask your question? Because I think that we have a little delay on this side. So start the senator's time over, and we'll proceed. Senator Francis Heidegger, you are recognized for your 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good morning once again to my colleagues, the people of the territory, and to the testifiers. I want to start off first with Annette Jackson's request and DPNR's recommendation for our use variance. Is everyone would be okay with that as opposed to any other zone changes?
DPNR?
The department is fine with the use variance proposal. The applicant did request the use variance as well.
Okay, excellent. And since everybody's on board with that, I'm okay with it. The only thing I wanted to ask in regards to the property had to do with the, from what we were explaining, had to do with a restaurant and a bar there. Is that also property of this individual, or is this some type of family land that's being shared? I just needed a little bit more understanding as to how that is set up.
Ms. Laplace Matthews responding. The property is owned by the applicant. She subdivided it in order to request the use variance specifically for the property with the house on it. So it was subdivided, separate from the restaurant and bar.
So she already subdivided it. Okay,
Correct.
That's where I needed some clarity. We're gonna move on to Eugenie Vincent. And this one and this is Lemari Polian. I wanna make sure I'm saying the names correctly. This one had to do with the nail salon business. And first of all, I need to know, are you currently in business? Because you spoke quite a bit about rent and overhead, and this is part of you attempting to stay in business and progress, which I have no problems with. But is this something you're saying that you do on the side, or you are actively trying to set up and pursue a business via this container?
Yeah. I'm currently already in the
1 minute.
in the trailer working with my my manicurist nail license already, and I do have approval already of the Department of Health and the Department of Fire already. I'm currently in the trailer already.
So this is just to get what you need in order to make sure everything is done properly?
Correct.
Okay, I understand that. The other part I wanted to ask about the next parcel, the last one we actually just touched on, there was no issues with them dealing with the property and getting a variance. And to be honest with you, the things that are before me today, I don't really have much issues with any of them, because based on what is being shared, it's just some cleanup. It's just property being transferred. And the only one I wanted to get a little bit more information on, let me just clarify before my time runs out. There was one that wanted to change from commercial and to do a residential home.
Time.
I wanted to understand, could I just ask this last part, please, Madam Chair?
Yeah, proceed.
Thank you. I wanted to understand a little bit in regards to that particular property. And because if that property is already dealing with business and the balance of it, would people be considered, like, for example, instead of constantly trying to change the zoning of property, maybe sell it? Commercial property is very valuable here in the Virgin Islands, and maybe get something different. Are these options that individuals look at, or just trying to change the zoning to accommodate their current needs?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm listening.
Yes. This is Armando Rocky Liebert. The concern that you brought up is one that was discussed. It's because the property is zone C, and you're correct that C is a viable zoning, but it's bigger than that. It's about owning a piece of the rock, being able to own a home. And the applicant has no other property. And so the purpose of this is to have a place to reside when they come in, whether they have a daughter that lives in the States and coming back, and they want to have a place for them. That's the purpose.
Okay. So was there any consideration to potentially selling the property as commercial?
No.
None? None?
No.
Okay. Alrighty. Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
There was a deed of gift given to Linda, and she wants to get a place to stay. She want to be just like everybody else who come from all over the place. Own a piece of the
Well,
property.
Thank you, Senator.
When I say sell the property, I mean utilize the funds to buy a zoning where she could put a home. So that's why I was asking, was that even a thought?
Thank
It was
you,
a thought,
Senator
but
Francis
not
Heidegger.
considered
Your
to
time
me.
has been called, and we need to proceed. We need to move forward,
Thank you
okay?
so
I
much.
think we
All right,
got
you're
the
welcome.
answers that we needed from the applicant. Senator Francis Heidegger, you're recognized for your 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon once again to my colleagues and the people of this territory and the testifiers. I want to jump in quickly first. Workforce housing. When I last sat at a meeting in St. Croix, when this was originally touted to me as a senator, it was shared that the housing, the purpose was for workforce or individuals that will be coming in, and scientists, labs, these types of people that will be working along with the RT Park in order to develop some of these programs through agriculture for our benefit, is who these things were going to be geared to. What I just heard from the young lady is that it's a housing community based on first come, first serve. I am a little bit confused, and I need a little bit of clarity on what this really is about, because what was initially expressed to me is now sounding like the university through the RT Park is going into housing. So could someone please clarify, or please give me a little bit more information on that?
This is Amina Salim, Chief of Staff at the RT Park. Yes, Senator,
Hi.
we do call this workforce housing because it will be, especially many of the housing developments made right now are low-income housing. What we're saying is that as we develop more projects that are bringing in professionals who are looking for something a little bit more as far as housing, they're going to be looking for places that are going to be like this housing. They're for young professionals, and we're not discriminating. We cannot discriminate and say if someone comes to us and they're a professional in this community and they want to get an apartment, that they can't have the apartment.
Okay, well, let me say this, and this is where I have a problem, because this is not how it was originally explained to me. I was under the impression that as the university and the RT Park, You were building housing for individuals that would be working with the university. Just like how you have individuals and students come on a campus, the regular public can't just come there and stay. So that's the impression that was originally given to me when I listened, but now I'm listening to you. You're having a totally different conversation as to what was sold to us previously when it was originally brought to us. So I feel very uncomfortable with the conversation right now, because I don't like when one thing is told to me and then you're now telling me something else. After we pass this bill and it's now a law, because if I'm correct, this is the same pieces of parcels that we were able to transfer that you're now asking to get rezoned. And I'm very much concerned about the difference of conversation that we're now having as to what I had no idea that the RT Park is now wanting to go into the housing business. I really just thought it was housing for people that would be participating in this project or either the university. So I'm a little confused about that, but I'll go from there. Has anyone done any kind of environmental study as to combining the two with the agriculture aspect of it and now potentially dealing with the changing to business for another parcel of agriculture to business in order to build these housing units, the motel, the restaurant, and all of these things? Has any of this been done?
Senator, we have a hotel study that was done. We also have a study that was done for the housing and the viability of doing that project here. We also, and I know that you're concerned about it, but you must understand one of our programs, which is Vista Plus, is trying to bring Virgin Islanders home to work in projects just like this. And so when we're looking at housing, we're not going to have a housing unit that is empty, but as people come to us, we're hoping that they will be coming into those apartments. It's not going to be easy for us. If we were just to leave it for people who were coming to work at the university, we would have empty units waiting for people to move in. It will have a mix. It is a mixed-use project.
I'm not questioning that, ma'am. What I'm questioning is I felt like I was sold a bill of goods, and that's my problem. Mm-hmm. I don't like when people come before this body and present one thing and then I'm hearing something else. That is what I don't like. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that we as a community should not build things so we could have people coming home. So attempting to change the narrative is not, I don't like that. I'm saying if that is what it was presented at initially, I wouldn't have had, I understand that. But when you told me, well, not you directly, because I've been to several meetings, when I'm told it's workforce development, it's people that are coming to the university, it's people that are going to be working on developing the agriculture, and this is what I got. So now when you say to me it's just open free for all, I didn't realize that now the university through the RT Park is now getting into apartment complex business. I didn't know that.
Senator Francis Heidegger.
But thank you so much for sharing your thoughts.
Your time has been called. But
yes?
I think you want to answer.
I appreciate it. I just heard you.
Yeah, you want an answer. So we're going to allow Ms. Salim to provide a response, because the last thing we want is to hear that there is a change in the narrative. So I think it's very important that we clear that up early in the conversation. So please share with us if, in fact, there is truly a difference between the first conversation that we had when we approved the first request and where we are today. You may proceed.
Thank you, Senator. No, there is not a change in what we first brought to the Senate. We have always come to the Senate with the same plans for this, and especially for our workforce development housing. It is, when we came, we said that it will be for people who are coming, working. We have people who are going to be working at the university. They have a simulation center. We have people who are going to be working in the farm projects because it's research. We have people in the community who are going to be working at this project. We have never said that it was not going to be anything else but what we brought it to in the first time. It's not been changed at all.
Thank you for your response. Senator DeGraff, you're recognized for your 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Alma Francis Heidegger. Senator Francis Heidegger, you're recognized for your 3 minutes.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon to testifiers, my colleagues, and the people of this territory. The first question I really want to ask has to do with financial gains. Does us currently being in a state of emergency affect us getting any of the monies that are coming in via the pandemic? I heard some of the different things that we can or cannot do, but is there anything specific that would be affected if we are not currently in the state of emergency? For example, finances for the National Guard, et cetera. Anyone?
Senator, this is Director Johnson from Baitima. The federal funding right now for National Guard is 100%, so that's fantastic to have that. That is funded currently through 1 July. In our discussions recently with FEMA have indicated, regardless of whether or not we continue the state of emergency with Governor Bryan's executive order, we will have that funding through 1 July. Now, with the crystal ball, national affairs, international affairs, that could always change, but right now we have mission assignments, we have approval to use the National Guard through 1 July and funded for up to 200 soldiers.
Okay, thank you. So if we are not in a state of emergency, we would still get those paid for. So that's a plus. I also want to know, when it comes to this state of emergency, the document that was originally sent down to us was sent on, I think it was December the 28th, 2021, for this specific one that we're dealing with, that was supposed to run from January the 10th up until April of this year. Mm-hmm. Now, as a body, we had 2 Senate sessions that we had on the 24th and we had one on the 31st that this could have been on the agenda. I have a grave concern that we are here on the 11th of March, where it is automatically going to renew. So basically, us taking testimony from you guys is a moot situation, unfortunately, because I do appreciate and I will take in all the information if we have to do it in the future. But as of right now, the request that the governor sent down on the 6th of the month, it says March the 6th for his request. And if it's going to automatically renew today, it doesn't really matter. Now, my biggest concern with this, and I'm also going to say it, because if we're the body that has to really get the information and make these decisions, I was very much concerned that the same day that the governor sent a letter to this body to renew the state of emergency for 30 days, on the same day, on the 6th, he put out an executive order stating that it's a done deal. And I want to read specifically his March 6th executive order. The same day he requested us to go with the approval, he says, Section 1, the state of emergency declared effective March 13, 2020 as renewed, supplemented and extended, which is set to expire on March 11, 2022, is hereby extended for an additional 30 days pursuant to Section 501D Virgin Islands Code in such state of emergency, along with all terms, declarations, ordered and renewed, extended and supplemented, shall continue in full force and effect through April the 10th, 2022, unless earlier lifted, extended by order of the governor of the United States. Madam Chair, might I just wrap up quickly?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. I don't have a problem with us as a body seeing that certain things we might need to renew or extend or amend in the code, but I do have a concern when you're asking me as a member of this institution, along with my other colleagues, to consider something, and in the same breath, you put out an executive order the same day telling the public it's a done deal. So, I appreciate and I will happily listen to all the testimony today. And hopefully we'll be able to make a decision at a later date, because as of right now, we can't do anything because we never brought it before the body when we had 2 opportunities to do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Francis Heidegger. I forgot, Senator Francis Heidegger. You see, I almost forgot you. My apologies. You're recognized for your state,
Okay.
your point of, is it inquiry? Inquiry?
Information.
Point of information. You may proceed, Senator.
Thank you.
Sorry
thank
about
you.
that.
Thank you so much. Point of information. As I continue to listen to the dialogue here, I just want to reiterate and put on the record some facts, because one of the reasons why we televise these hearings is for public information, because the public follows and listens to what's happening here. I want to make sure put on the record that when I wasn't even a senator, I personally was in support of curtailing how this state of emergency was. It wasn't along party lines. I am an independent, as most people would know. But the fact of the matter is, things were happening during that time period, and this is why that law even came in place. So I am not one to throw out the baby with the bathwater, because we're in a different mood. We do not know what the future holds, and if we as a body need to make amendments in order not to come here every 30 days to maybe every 90 days. Because if things did not happen in our community that warranted that law's existence, it would have never happened. And the only other thing I want to make note of is that when it comes to this piece of legislation, and I'm listening to my colleagues speak consistently about costly, this bill came to this body originally on the 28th of December, some 13 days before January the 10th, when we were supposed to have an initial session, which did not happen. We could have voted then. We had 2 additional costly sessions on the 24th of January and the 31st of January, where this initial legislation could have been put on the agenda to be voted on. It didn't happen. So while we sit here today, when a governor puts out an executive order on the 6th, some 5 days, and also send down a request some 5 days before, this concerns me, and I have the right to question these things. Because me sitting here, and it just automatically rolls over when we had multiple opportunities to address it, is a problem for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Senator Alma Francis Heidegger.